Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Hasfa and you're watching Preston Avery Design. Friends, let me tell you, if you love Jesus and you love flipping thrifted furniture, then this is the channel for you. So if you're watching for the first time, consider clicking the subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell notification so that YouTube lets you know every time I upload a brand new video. So if you are just joining us and this is your first time watching and you're wondering why I'm telling these stories, I do want to share why I do share these stories because it's important to understand that we are more than DIY. We are more than the sum of our creations. Quality of life for the creator affects his or her creation. And growing up in Uganda, my grandmother Christina, she always told me these wonderful stories, and many of them I still remember by heart because they made an impact. And as I continue on this journey of creativity, it becomes more clear to me that I don't want to just create beautiful furniture. I want to impact your life and my life. This desk had lots of damage on the veneer, and instead of trying to spend time fixing it, it was much easier to just go ahead and remove it. It was so simple. All it took was a Cricut spatula to peel it off, and it gave me a blank canvas to paint. Now, this particular area that I'm removing the veneer from, I'm going to decoupage using the entire book of Romans from the Bible. Now, it took exactly 3 different Bibles to accomplish this look, but it turned out beautiful, and I'm so glad I did it. Now, like I told you last week, sometimes there are certain projects that I do that come with a built-in story, and it's a no-brainer. And this is definitely one of those. I have been a member of Bible Study Fellowship, and at this time I was a group leader, which meant I was trusted with the responsibility and the privilege of shepherding a small group of women and just shepherding us through this Bible study. And so around 2017, my husband and I had been married for 1 year, and we had decided that we wanted to start a family. And so we lost our first pregnancy. I personally did not take it well. I mean, I am all about maturity and handling obstacles as they come and finding opportunities in adversity. But when I tell you, friends, I was so grumpy when this happened. I was like, man, forget this, right? I was not strong. I was not courageous. I was not brave. I threw in the towel and I was just done. I was like, I am done. I was angry at everybody. I was angry with God, and I was just mad with myself and the world.
Where would I go? Where would I be if I could not walk with him? I'm in his hands, he carries me home, frees me from all my burdens. I have no fear, there ain't no doubt, he's by my side, he shines his light upon me. And when I'm weak, he's always strong. His love for me will lead me home, lead me home.
So I kept showing up to leaders meetings every Saturday. I showed up for, Tuesday classes with my ladies. But everyone could see that something was different. Anyway, long story short, I just wasn't there. I had checked out. And we were studying the book of Romans at this time. So we spent like a whole year on one book. So it's really an in-depth study. And at this time, we're studying the book of Romans, and we're in chapter 8. And on one particular morning, she has yet another one of her exercises. And this time, she brought some cards, and she asked us to write a letter. But before that, she went around the room and asked everyone if they would be willing to share one of their favorite scriptures from the lesson that we had been covering earlier on. Well, so we go around the room, and of course I didn't participate. I was like, pass. And everyone else goes around the room, and it was like 25 ladies. And I kid you not, at least 20 of those ladies, they all say their favorite scripture was Romans 8:28. You see where I'm going with this, right?
To the Father's house, I'm in the Father's house. I say a prayer and He takes me there, home to the Father's house. Here in His house, there is a light. It is shining for you and me. Just open your heart, open your eyes. He will show you His might and glory.
And so Romans 8:28 says, "For we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose." Now, another form of that same scripture says, "For we know that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose." So, friends, I'm like, okay, this makes no sense. What do you mean all things work for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose? I love Him. I've been here. I've been called. I've been serving. I've done everything He's asked me to do. And I can tell you right now, all things are not working together for my good. And the fact that at least 20 ladies in that room were going around, and every time they would share it, they would say it. They would say the scripture. So like 20 times, I'm hearing all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. You see where I'm going? Over and over and over and over, they are saying this scripture, and I don't believe it.
I'm in the Father's house. I say a prayer and He takes me there, home to the Father's house. Here in His house, there is a light. It is shining for you and me.
So, time passes and she gives us these note cards and she asks us to write a letter to God. I wrote my note card and I sealed it up and I gave it back to her, never to look at it again. Oh, over time, obviously, I did get past that incident and I never did drop out of Bible study fellowship. I continued my assignment as a group leader, and the following year, 8 months later, my husband and I conceived Preston Avery. And I will say that his pregnancy was another test in my life. It was not an easy one, but in all, God was glorified. And on December 4th, 2018, Preston Avery was born.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
But anyway, one day I was in the kitchen doing the dishes, and Preston had reached that stage where kids put everything that they see, everything that they get a hold of, in their mouth. So on this particular day, I'm washing the dishes, and I know that he's in the living room. I know he's around, and I'm hearing things, pulling out. He was pulling out the books, the bottom shelf books. They're okay, so don't think I was being negligent. Those were books that he was allowed to play with because he liked to play with things that were not toys. So as he's pulling these books, I can hear, he's pulling things, he's grabbing onto things, he's walking around. Occasionally, I'll poke my head around the corner just to check on him, and I'd see him playing. And then one time I do one of those look around, and I see him, and he had something in his mouth, you guys. Just like another, oh, look what I found, I'm going to put it in my mouth. So he had something in his mouth, and he was holding on to the book stand, and he was kind of doing, the shuffle that babies do, just going back and forth. And in his mouth was a little piece of paper. It was a white envelope. So I went up to him. I said, "What you got here, bud?" And I took it. And it was a note card that was sealed. And on top of it, it had my name. So, of course, I opened it. And I think it's best that I read to you what that card said. "Dear God, you have and you continue to be faithful to me. Though I do not have everything I want, I know that I have plenty of your love. I am still trusting you for the fruit of the womb. I know that you know what is best for me. I am done trying to have my way. I will yield to your will. Have your way in this situation. I desire to have a baby. I know that you love me and you will grant me the desires of my heart. Thank you for all that you do for me. And thank you for allowing me the chance to grow my faith through this situation." And it's signed Hasper. Now, back here, I made a note for him because it's in his journal, so I want him to know why is this important. And so the note says, "This note was written 8 months before you were conceived. You are an answered prayer from God."
Nothing below, nothing above. No matter how low I get, Lord, you are enough. Nothing can separate me from your love. Nothing can separate me from your love. Lord, you are King of Kings. I'm here to give you everything. It's my whole life that I am offering. I give it over to the King of Kings. I give it over to the King of Kings. Nothing before me, nothing in my past. Even in the storm, Lord, your peace surpasses. Nothing can separate me from your love. Nothing can separate me from your love.
What's so unique about about this card is where I found it. I found this card in Preston's mouth. And this card was written 8 months before he was even conceived. Talk about God deliberately answering prayer. You see, he used the answer to my prayer to remind me of what I once prayed for. He used this little boy, there he was, Preston himself, a prayer personified. All of God's grace and faithfulness down in that little face, in that little white onesie with a little note card in his mouth. I'm sharing this story because for me it is proof that God answers prayers. And it is proof that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. You guys know that saying that words can impact a moment, but a story can change a life? Well, this is one of those stories that changed my life.
I give my heart, I give my soul. Lord, I give up control. Every part of my day, Lord, it's yours. Have your way. Give my heart, give my soul. Lord, I give up control. Every part of my day, Lord, it's yours. Have your way. You are King of Kings. I'm here to give you everything. It's my whole life that I'm offering. I give it over to the King of Kings.
So my prayer is that this story will also change your life. I pray that you will be able to look around and see that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. You know, the problem is that when we're in the trenches, it's really hard to see a way out. There are certain situations in this life where you will need to experience God for yourself. And there are certain things that you will go through that will do just that for you. And my prayer is that you will be blessed with a heart that endures, because we have to be resilient and we have to persevere. So that's all that I have today. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. And if you are someone who needed to hear the story, I hope that I did not get in the way of you receiving God's message for you through it. As always, thank you guys for letting me share. Thank you for watching. And let me know what you thought. Do you have a similar experience? I really love hearing from you guys. If you need any of the paint products that you saw me use today, be sure to visit PrestonEveryDesign.com. Until next time, friends, take care. Bye-bye.